Okay. How the hell are you so well spoken? And a question after that: did you stuff a dictionary down your throat?
My vocabulary is not that good. I watched Destiny for a long time. He's pretty well spoken. But I've always enjoyed public speaking. I've always had a lot of fun with public speaking.
Have you always been like fluent and just naturally good at it, or is this something that you've like trained over time, I guess?
Well, I've trained it, certainly. You know, there's no skill you're just good at by default. I've always liked public speaking, so I've always taken the opportunity to practice it when possible. Did I get a win? I got a win! I got a win!
Hey!
Nice!
I haven't even gotten a win.
Hey! Thanks to the good mojo.
I'm watching your stream. You look... I think this is the happiest I have ever seen you in the entire year of watching your streams.
I'm a happy boy. I've just got a gruff face. Yeah, I've always enjoyed public speaking. I have a really fond memory of my public speaking when I was young. I was in high school, and I was taking a college class, community relations, which was being led by a cop. It wasn't a proper academic class. It was more of a like ancillary sort of a life skills course that I think was offered as an extracurricular for us high school students. But anyway, it was a fun class, and we learned a lot of very practical community engagement stuff. Actually very useful for people wanting to be a politician or a YouTuber. And I remember there was some assignment we had to do where we were a police officer, or no, we were a police chief, and we had to respond to a town hall meeting where a person who we sort of contextually imagined to be rather racist was complaining that we weren't doing enough to respond to their calls. And their calls were always coming from the suburbs, and their calls were always about, like, suspicious people who turn out to be black, who hadn't committed any crimes. So the trick was, how do you not embarrass yourself or them while publicly criticizing their overjudacious use of the emergency line? And I gave my little spiel, and people were really, really impressed by it because it was off the cuff. We had to do it like right off the bat. They were giving us prompts. We didn't have time to prepare. And people really, really, really liked it. And they were all, you know, jerking me off like, woo, you know, so great. And I thought, oh, well, that's nice. I thought I did well too. They really think I was that good. And I thought about it for a bit. And then after that, I resolved that any opportunity I had in class or elsewise, I would always take a chance to speak publicly. You can check with Hyena about that. One of the first things I did with Hyena after we met each other in college was I traveled with them to a family member's wedding, where I spoke at that wedding despite having never met anyone there before, because I was fulfilling my vow. And that went well, too. And the more situations you put yourself in, the better you get at this stuff. It's really not a matter of talent.
Interesting. Your little story kind of reminded me. So you were a security guard, right? Mm-hmm. At some point?
Yeah. I was a security guard at a mall that I did to pay my way through college.
Shit, you were a mall cop?
No, not a mall cop. Not for the mall itself. At a mall. It was for a Ross, actually. On sort of a larger campus. But yeah.
Very cool. I'm going to use this to now segue into the next point, which is vaguely similar. Do you think that we should defund the police?
I think that defund the police means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. The fact that we keep putting more and more money into our police departments right now is insane, because crime has only ever gone down. Where the fuck is that money going? What I would like to see is fewer cops and fewer police equipment being given more money per individual so that they can be properly educated on the law and not just being given a fucking 12-week correspondence course. And the rest of that money being put towards social services. Social service investment is really, really great economically because it pays back. For example, money that goes into WIC, social spending towards infants and women in underprivileged communities, it pays back 7 to 1. That is to say, for every dollar invested in that program, you save $7 in taxpayer money down the line, because that means there are fewer people to jail, less medical expenses to cover. It pays back massively. And so it's a really easy argument to make. Police don't do that. Having police in a neighborhood does not bring you back money in the long run. Because police aren't preventative, they're reactive. They don't prevent crime. They show up 25 minutes after your car's been broken into to write down a little report and then do nothing else. Whereas social services and social spending can address the roots of these problems to prevent them from happening in the first place. It means you don't have to pay as many expensive cops. It's just better all along. You know? So defund the police, but absolutely fund social programs, including social workers who in some cases would replace the job for police.
I've always felt that we have to, like, that the left comes up with like these phrases, and that we often have to play like catch up, if that makes sense. I personally think that defund the police is a terrible slogan because it, well, for two reasons. Like, one, it kind of makes it sound like you want to get rid of the police entirely, which if you're like a random schmuck, that sounds really, really bad.
Oh, for sure.
And then beyond that, like isn't Joe Biden not even defunding the police?
Well, no.
Although
no,
I know that you're not fully behind Joe Biden, of course.
Oh, I'm very behind Joe Biden, but no, of course he's not going to defund the police. And defunding the police optically isn't very good, and I recognize that. It's the same with ACAB. It's one of those things where semantically it can be useful, and pragmatically it can be less so. When people hear defund the police, they don't think, oh, well, money will be reinvested into social programs to overall lower the cost of crime. What a lot of people think is like, oh, our cities are burning, Antifa's running rampant, and they want to cut the fucking police so nobody's here to show up after my small business gets burned. And yeah, it's not really great optics. It's a problem with the left, I think, that they're not really capable of pushing their ideas in a way that works for the public. Fascism is very, very, very easy to sell to the public, or at the very least, fascists are good at selling it, because you package it into more law and order, you know, anti-rioting, anti-looting, anti-arson, anti-degeneracy, and you pile on more and more oppressive laws and more oppressive rules until eventually you're staring down the barrel of an authoritarian government. And at what point did you arrive here? Well, it never felt like you were doing anything of that effect. The left just can't do this that well. It's a shame.
Yeah, for real. I remember like when ACAB first started, like, because if it was like just like ACAB or just defund the police, then like whatever. But I feel like we're always playing this game. The left just needs a better PR team. I'm tired of having to explain like every single thing. Maybe it's just because the ideas are too complex to compact in like a slogan. But like, I mean, for a good example, like the pro-life, pro-choice, I think it's beautiful. Like, that's beautiful sloganing right there. Why can't we do just better on that end? And this is where I am offering you the job. You can be the official spokesman and PR person of the left. Do you accept?
I don't know if the left would have me in my current state. I'll sit on that offer. I'll masticate on it, and I'll come back to you in the future.
I have a little chalkboard. It says days since last canceled. Right now we're on 0, but if you can get to 10 days without being canceled, the job is yours.
You know, I'm hoping to go an entire month. Maybe we could go the rest of September without getting canceled once.
It's good to aim high.
We'll see.